Hi friends, in this video we want to build this registration page. On the wider page we have this gradient colored background, and at the exact center we have this box with a background image. We have these two circles which are transparent, and we have this registration form which is the main purpose of this video. We can enter our details in this form. We generate some random password, then we can submit, and it refreshes the page. And I've made each field required, so you can submit this form without filling in all the fields except for the date. So let's try that and see. Let's say I want to submit. It tells me to complete this field, so I have to complete it. When I try to submit, it tells me that this is not a valid email. It must include an @ sign indicating that it's an email. So as usual, now we can submit. So this form works perfectly, and this is what we want to build in this video, and we are building this using HTML and CSS. I also want to mention real quick that if you find any value in this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tutorials like this. That being said, let's get started. In my code editor, I have one index.html and style.css files. I also have an asset folder with an image which I'll be using for the background. So this is it. And in the HTML, I only have the boilerplate code where I give a title and link the HTML to the CSS file. In the CSS too, I only have this basic styling for the entire document where I remove all margin, padding, and set box sizing to border box. So in the HTML, we just jump into the body and create a div with a class container. And we'll give the CSS for it. We'll set width and height. The background is a linear gradient at an angle of 130 degrees. This purple color, and the comma, gray. Then we'll set display flex. Align items and justify content to center. So I'll head over to the HTML again and run this code with the VS Code Live Server extension. And it doesn't seem to be working. So in the HTML, we'll be sure to spell the container correctly. And now everything is working, and we have this color on the background. In the container, we'll create a div and give it a class content. Inside of it, we'll create one div with a class light. You can copy this and paste and make this one light 2. These two lights are the two circles we have here, this one and this one. So let's start the content div. It's inside the container. We'll set width and height. We'll give it a background image, and it will be a linear gradient to right. This RGBA color code with a comma. This other one. Then out of the linear gradient with a comma URL, we set an image, so it's in the asset folder, and this is the background. We'll give it a border radius 2 rem. Then we'll set position relative. Display flex, align items and justify content center. When we save this is what we have so far. So let's add the lights. In the content, we have the light. As usual, we set width and height. Border radius should be 50%, so that will make it a perfect square. Sorry, circle. It has a gradient background, so 130 degrees. This RGBA color code with a comma. The next one is this one. And after this, we'll set position absolute. Top 1 rem and left 1 rem. So let's start the light 2 div 2. So it's also in the content. The width and height is the same as this one, so we can copy this one and paste in here. We can copy the background image and make some changes too. We'll replace the first color code with this one. Then we'll replace the second one with this one. And after the color, we'll set position absolute. Bottom 1 rem, right 1 rem. When we save all this, we have this, and you see it's positioned very well. So now let's create the sign up form. In the HTML, after the light 2 div, we'll create a form. Set the action to a hashtag. Inside, we'll first create an H1 with the text sign up. So let's give the CSS styling for it. So select the form in the content div. We set width, padding, and border radius. We'll also give it a gradient background color at an angle of 130 degrees. To have this RGBA color code with a comma and the next one. So after this, we'll style the H1 inside the form. Content form H1. Text align will be center. We set the color to this RGBA color code. We give it a margin to the bottom 1 rem, font family to serif, and text transform is uppercase. So when we save this, we have our form here. So let's insert the input fields, this over here, and also the buttons. So after the H1, we'll create an input. Type is text, the name will be first name. ID will be first name too. Placeholder will be enter first name. And we have to make it required so that no one can skip it. So we just enter required. So we can copy this input and paste for the remaining items. The last name, email, password, and date. So the second one will be last name. ID will also be last name. That was the name, so ID will also be last name. The placeholder will also be last name. The next one is the email, so type will be email because email is an HTML type. So we'll set the name to email as well. The next one is password, so we'll do it for it. And after the password, we have date, so we'll change the type to date. Change the name to date of birth. DOB. ID as well. And for this, we don't need the placeholder, so we can remove it completely. And I don't want to make it required too. After the date, we have this text here, already have account, and a button here to log in. And after that, we have the submit button. So let's put it inside. So after the date input, we have this A tag. The href is a hashtag. Already have account. After that, we'll create a span. Login. And after this, we'll create the submit button. Text is submit. And type is submit. So when we run this, we have this. So let's give the CSS styling for it. Let's start with the input. We'll set display block. We set width 100%, height 35 pixels. Padding to the left is 12 pixels so that the text will have some spacing from the left border. The font size is just default 1 rem, which is the same as 16 pixels. We remove all outline and border. We set the border to the bottom 1 pixel solid and this RGBA color code. And the text color is this RGBA color code We give it a border radius so that will round the corners, and a background color of this transparent black color. So when we save this is what we have. So let's start the placeholder text inside of it so that we can see it clearly. So to select the placeholder, content form, input, colon, placeholder. I will give it a color which is the same as the text color over here. So now we can see the difference. It looks like this. Now let's start the anchor tag and also these buttons. For the anchor tag, the A display will be inline block. Text decoration none. We'll give it a white color. Set cursor to auto. Now it's also looking well. Let's start the span after this one. Display as well is inline block. Padding. 2 pixels top and bottom, 5 pixels left and right. We set the text color to white. Now it also looks good. So let's add the submit button. And it's the only button inside the form. Set display block. We set width 100%, increase the font size, give it some padding, we give it a margin to the top 1.5 rem, remove the border and also the outline, give it this background color. So let's give it a background image. To write this RGBA color code with a comma, this next one, You might be thinking, why do we have to give a background color and a background image? That will take place, that will have an effect when we have a hover effect for the button. We'll give it an orange color. We'll set cursor pointer. When we save this, you see it looks good now. So let's add the hover effect. Right now it doesn't have any hover effect. You can see this one, we have some hover effect. So select the button again. Colon hover. When we hover, we change the background color to blue. Now you can see the effect. So let's add some transition. So in the button, we'll add transition, 0.3 seconds. It eases in, out. So now it takes some transition. So our form is fully functioning and effective. So we can enter any name, last name, email, fake@email.com, password, then we can submit. So friends, this is what I promised we're going to build in this video, and we have built this using HTML and CSS. If you find any value in this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tutorials like this. If you have any questions, please do leave it in the comment section. I'm Daniel, thanks for watching.